The ING Group is a Dutch multinational banking and financial services corporation headquartered in Amsterdam. Its primary businesses are retail banking, direct banking, commercial banking, investment banking, asset management, and insurance services. ING is an abbreviation for Internationale Nederlanden Groep. The orange lion on ING's logo is an allusion to the group's Dutch origins under the House of Orange-Nassau. ING is the Dutch member of the Internationale Group of banks, a cooperative consortium of 11 prominent European banks. ING Bank was included in a list of global systemically important banks in 2012. According to the Fortune Global 500 in 2012, ING was the world's largest banking, financial services and insurance conglomerate by revenue, with gross receipts exceeding $150 billion per annum. The group is also the world's 18th largest corporation by revenue. As of 2013, ING served over 48 million individual and institutional clients in more than 40 countries, with a worldwide workforce exceeding 75,000. History: ING Group traces its roots to two major insurance companies in the Netherlands and the banking services of the Dutch government. Insurance: in 1845 the fire insurance company the Assurance-Maatschappij Tegen Brandschade de Nederlanden van 1845 was founded and grew to be the first insurance company with branches outside the Netherlands, of which it had 139 the world over by 1900. It later changed its name to De Nederlanden van 1845. 2 decades later, in 1863, the life insurance company Nationale Levensverzekeringsbank was founded in Rotterdam. These two insurance companies would make multiple acquisitions before merging to form the combined insurance company the Nationale Nederlanden in 1963. The combined insurance company would expand significantly during the 1970s and 1980s. Banking: in 1881 the Dutch government created the Rijkspostspelbank, a postal savings system to encourage workers to start saving. 4 decades later they added the postcheck and Giraudience services, allowing working families to make payments via post offices. Separately, in 1927 the Dutch government initiated a reorganization of Dutch banks which resulted in the creation of the Nederlandse Middelstandsbank. NMB's focus was retail banking in the Netherlands and abroad. In 1986 the post office banking services were privatized as Postbank NV, and 3 years later it would merge with NMB Bank to form NMB Postbank Group. Merger of banking and insurance: in 1991 the banking business of NMB Postbank Group and the insurance business of Nationale Nederlanden were merged to create ING Group, after changes in regulation that allowed banks and insurance businesses to work together. Further acquisitions: since the ING Group was founded it has made several acquisitions. Overseas expansion: ING Group expanded its international business through a number of acquisitions through the 1990s, including Belgian Bank Bruxelles Lambert in 1998, US-based insurance company Equitable of Iowa, and the commercial bank firm Insults. It also acquired Frankfurt-based BHF Bank in 1999, although disposed of this later. It increased its Latin American and Asia-Pacific's insurance businesses with the acquisition of Relias Star and Aetna's financial services unit. It also acquired the Polish bank SHLA Ski and Mexican insurance company Seguros cum Shalama Copyright Rica. However, it was the 1995 purchase of Barings Bank after its dramatic failure that saw ING Group's investment banking business boosted significantly. To expanding its retail banking business overseas, rather than create a branch network, it used the direct banking business model it had developed with NMB Postbank to launch an overseas direct banking businesses called ING Direct. The first of these was set up in Canada in 1997. This was soon followed in a number of other countries including the US, UK, Germany, France and Australia. The no-frills high-rate savings accounts that could only be accessed online were a successful venture and spawned a number of similar services from rival banks. Capital injection and divestiture: in 2008, as part of the late 2000s financial crisis, ING Group, together with all other major banks in the Netherlands, took a capital injection from the Dutch government. This support increased ING's capital ratio above 8%, However, as a condition of Dutch state aid, the EU demanded a number of changes to the company structure. This resulted in divestiture of a number of businesses around the world, which included insurance businesses in Latin America, Asia, Canada, Australia and New Zealand, and the ING Direct unit in the US, Canada and the UK. This included the sale of the ING Direct US operations to Capital One and the ING Direct UK operations to Barclays Bank in 2012. The spun-off insurance businesses in North America were renamed Voya Financial in 2014. Global operations. In November 2003, ING Group N.V. appointed Michel Tilmant, Vice Chairman of the Executive Board, as its new chairman and successor to Ewald Kirst. ING has offices in Global Headquarters. The group's corporate headquarters, ING House, is located in the business district of Zuidas in Amsterdam, Netherlands. It was designed by Roberta Meyer and Jeroen van Schooten and was officially inaugurated on September 16, 2002 by then Prince Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands. The light-infused building features a 250-seat auditorium, foyer, restaurant, library and an extensive art collection. Recent notable transactions: Latin American divestment. In July 2011, ING divested all its Latin American insurance operations to the Colombian insurance group Grupo Sura for $3.85 billion, excluding ING's 36% holding in Brazilian insurer SulAmérica, which will be sold at a later date. SulAmérica officially started operating the ING investment management, wealth management, retire funds and pension businesses in Latin America on February 13, 2012. ING Commercial Bank will keep its operations in Mexico. The actions are in line with EU demands to split the group's banking and insurance operations as a condition of Dutch state aid. Capital injection and repayment. In October 2008, in a move to increase its core Tier 1 capital ratio above 8%, ING Group accepted a capital injection plan from the Dutch government. The plan supplied a $10 billion to the operation, in exchange for securities and veto rights on major operational changes and investments. The European Commission also required ING to divest itself of its insurance and investment management operations by the end of 2013 as a condition of approving the state aid. Wouter Bos, the Dutch finance minister at the time, said the Dutch government's investment was done as a means of fortifying the bank to weather the financial crisis. Management stated that the capital injection shall have no dilutive impact to existing shareholders. As part of the agreement, 2 government advisors have been appointed to the supervisory board of the group. In December 2009, ING raised $7.3 billion through share issues, and repurchased securities representing half of the $10 billion in state aid. It repurchased another $2 billion in May 2011, and looked to complete the repayments by May 2012. However, in January 2012 it cited Eurozone conditions in putting the repayment timetable as 2012 to 2013 for the remaining $3 billion. 2012 settlement with U.S. Treasury Department. On June 12, 2012, the U.S. Department of the Treasury Unregistered Trademark S Office of Foreign Assets Control announced a $619 million settlement with ING Bank N.V. to settle potential liability for conspiring to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and the Trading with the Enemy Act, and for violating New York state laws by illegally moving billions of dollars through the U.S. financial system on behalf of sanctioned Cuban and Iranian entities. ING Bank Unregistered Trademark S settlement with OFAC is simultaneous with settlements with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, the Department of Justice's National Security Division, the Department of Justice's Asset Forfeiture and Money Laundering Section, and the New York County District Attorney Unregistered Trademark S Office. Under the settlement agreement, ING Bank is required to conduct a review of, and to submit a report to OFAC regarding, its policies and procedures and their implementation, taking an appropriate risk-focused sampling of U.S. dollar payments to ensure that its OFAC compliance program is functioning effectively to detect, correct, and report any OFAC-sanctioned transactions that might occur. Activities. Beginning in the 1990s, At the instruction of senior bank management, ING Bank employees in Kuala Section O began processing payments for ING Bank Euro unregistered trademark S Cuban banking operations through its branch in Kuala Section O on behalf of Cuban customers without reference to the payment's Euro unregistered trademark origin. The practice of removing and omitting such information was used by other branches of ING Bank Euro unregistered trademark S wholesale banking division, including in France, Belgium, and the Netherlands, in processing US dollar payments and trade finance transactions through the United States. In addition, ING Bank Euro unregistered trademark S senior management in France authorized, advised in the creation of, and ultimately provided fraudulent endorsement stamps for use by Cuban financial institutions in processing travelers' check transactions, which disguised the involvement of Cuban banks in these transactions when they were processed through the United States. Moreover, ING Bank Euro unregistered trademark S trade and commodity finance business at its wholesale banking branch in the Netherlands routed payments made on behalf of U.S.-sanctioned Cuban clients through other corporate clients to obscure the sanctioned client's Euro unregistered trademark identities, and its Romanian branch omitted details from a letter of credit involving a U.S. financial institution to finance the exportation of U.S. origin goods to Iran. Other notable activities: in 2004, ING Group sold CENE Bankiers, which had previously been part of NMB, to F. Van Lanschot Bankiers. On March 25, 2005, the company was to announce the acquisition of a 19.9% stake in the Bank of Beijing, and the deal was worth about 1.7 billion yuan, or $200 million. In January 2013, ING announced it had sold its 26% stake in India Euro unregistered trademark S Visa Life Insurance to its joint partner Exide Industries. ING US IPO and rebrand. In 2013, ING US was spun off in an initial public offering ahead of his planned rebranding as Voya Financial. As of 2014, ING Group is no longer the controlling shareholder of its former subsidiary, owning 47% of its shares. Divisions: Retail Banking. ING offers retail banking services in the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Poland, Romania, Turkey, India, Thailand and China. Non-retail private banking services are offered in the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland and various countries in Asia and Central Europe. In the Netherlands, ING is the largest retail bank by market share, holding 40% of current account deposits. ING is followed by Rabobank, ABN AMRO, and others. Outside of the Benelux, ING's current focus is on Central and Eastern Europe, as well as certain high-growth regions in Asia. In India, ING has a 44% stake in ING Visa Bank and is the Indian bank's largest shareholder. In China, ING has a 17% stake in the Bank of Beijing, the largest urban commercial bank in China. In Thailand, ING has a 30% stake in TMB Bank, a universal banking platform with a nationwide network. ING Direct. ING Direct is the group's brand for a branchless direct bank with operations in Australia, Austria, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. It offers services over the web, phone, ATM or by mail. The service currently focuses on simple interest-bearing savings accounts for retail customers. ING Direct Italy is currently opening its own bank shops in the major towns, where customers can operate services on usual web channels, assisted or not by branch operators, and use advanced teller machines for cash and check transactions. ING Direct Canada. ING's history in Canada dates to 1997 when it founded ING Direct Canada, the first ING Direct operation in the world. As of July 2011, ING Direct Canada had over 1.7 million clients, employed over 900 people and had over $37.6 billion in assets. ING Direct Canada operated 5 Save Your Money CAFA Copyright S in the major cities of Toronto, Montreal Copyright AL, Calgary and Vancouver. Its products included savings accounts, tax-free savings accounts, mortgages, retirement savings plans, guaranteed investments, mutual funds, business accounts and a no-fee daily checking accounts. They were known for using a referral program as part of their advertising, allowing members to refer friends whereby both the referrer and referee receive a cash bonus. On August 29, 2012, Scotiabank announced that it would acquire ING Direct Canada for $3.13 billion. The sale was completed on November 15, 2012. In November 2013, Scotiabank announced the rebranding of ING Direct Canada as Tangerine, with the rebranding taking effect on April 8, 2014. ING Direct United States. Founded in 2000, ING Direct USA was sold to Capital One in 2011 and changed its name to Capital One 361 years later. ING Direct UK. ING Direct began operations in the UK in May 2003 and has over 1 million customers. Operations are based in Reading, where the company head office is situated, as well as an office based in the city of Cardiff. The bank markets itself as offering good customer service and high interest rates, which are usually higher than its high street competitors, but not always top of comparison tables. The bank has picked up awards for its customer services and mortgage product in 2008 and 2009. On October 8, 2008, ING purchased the savings accounts of the collapsed Icelandic bank, Kaupthing Singer and Friedlander. The UK Treasury used the Banking Act 2008 to transfer the Kaupthing Edge deposit business to ING Direct. Through this, ING Direct took over responsibility for a £2.5 billion of deposits of 160,000 UK customers with the Icelandic bank Kaupthing Edge. Some customers were dissatisfied after ING lowered the exceptional high rate the collapsed Kaupthing was previously paying. ING Direct products in the UK include savings accounts, cash ISAs, mortgages and home insurance. ING announced a plan to exit the UK in August 2012, as it sought to raise funds to repay a bailout from the Dutch government. On October 9, 2012, Barclays announced that it had agreed to buy ING Direct UK, taking on its a £10.9 billion deposits and a £5.6 billion mortgage book. ING said it would incur a €320 after-tax loss on the sale, which would involve the transfer of 750 ING Direct staff and 1.5 million customers. ING Direct Australia. ING Direct Australia was established in 1999 and is headquartered in Sydney, offering banking online and via telephone. Its products in Australia include transaction accounts, savings accounts, business accounts, term deposits and home loans. The company's operations are regulated by the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority and the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, federal government regulators. ING Direct is a division of ING Bank. In October 2008, ING Direct suffered a $749 million outflow of deposit funds. There had been some confusion as to whether or not the Australian government's guarantee over funds on deposit applied to deposits up to $1 million with ING Direct Australia. Commercial banking. ING Commercial Banking provides banking and financial services to corporations and other institutions. The primary geographic focus of the commercial banking business is the Netherlands, Belgium, Poland and Romania, where it offers a full range of products, from cash management to corporate finance. Elsewhere, it takes a more selective approach to clients and products. ING Commercial Banking was strengthened in 1995, when ING took over Barings Bank. This acquisition increased the brand recognition of ING around the world and strengthened its commercial banking presence in the emerging markets. Following the acquisition and up until 2004, ING's investment banking division was called ING Barings, at which point it severed its ties with the Barings name and combined with ING's other commercial banking operations. However, the top floor of ING's London office is still home to the Baring Art Collection, and the Baring Foundation, a charitable foundation. Commercial banking is divided into a number of subdivisions, including structured finance, financial markets, transaction services and corporate finance. Corporate finance. ING's corporate finance department advises businesses on important corporate transactions, including mergers and acquisitions, initial public offerings, secondary offerings, share buybacks and management buyouts. The division is headed jointly by Moritz Dunst and Pierre Chabrolai. The bank has advised on a number of recent high-profile European transactions including satellite navigation manufacturer TomTom and AA359M rights issue, energy supplier Neoen in its $8.5 billion sale to Vattenfall, and printer maker Ogre Copyright in its $1.3 billion merger with Canon. ING was the leading advisor in the Dutch M&A league tables in 2009. ING Corporate Finance has a strong presence in Russia and Central and Eastern Europe. In 2009 ING advised Mobile Telesystems OJSC, Russia's largest mobile operator, in its acquisition of a 51% stake in Comstar UTS for $1.27 billion, and Russia-focused oil producer, Exilin Energy on its $100 million IPO. Insurance. ING's insurance business operates throughout America, Asia and Europe. In 2009, ING announced plans to separate its insurance business from its main banking operations through two IPOs, one for Europe and Asia and another one for the US. The Euro-Asia IPO has been delayed while the US IPO is supposed to be completed by the end of 2012. Analysts estimate that the insurance arm is worth up to $16 billion. As of February 2009, ING Canada is no longer a subsidiary of ING Group. ING Group's 70% equity interest was spun off for $2.2 billion. The company was then renamed Intact Financial Corporation in May 2009. ING Group continued to operate ING Bank of Canada, also known as ING Direct Canada. ING sold its Malaysian insurance business to American International Assurance in October 2012 for a total of $1.3 billion. ING Australia. ING Australia was purchased by ANZ in 2009, and rebranded as OnePath in 2010. ING Direct Australia remains part of the ING Group. In December 2011, it was reported that ING Australia had been defrauded of $45 million by an employee. She was convicted and sentenced to 15 years jail. ING Investment Management. ING Investment Management is the principal asset manager of the group and a leading global asset manager. Against the background of the group realizing its global ambitions, ING Investment Management has also expanded across borders. Today, it is active in 33 countries, including some of the World Euro unregistered trademark's fastest-growing economies, such as China, India, Brazil and many Eastern European nations. ING Investment Management operates along regional lines with centers of expertise in Europe, the Americas and Asia-Pacific. ING Investment Management provides a comprehensive range of investment solutions and services to clients and partners. It manages assets for institutional clients, fund distributors and ING labels, with approximately $326 billion in AUM. Over 3,200 professionals manage client funds globally. Sponsorships. ING sponsors sporting events and artistic exhibitions throughout the world. Sporting. For several years, ING has been the title sponsor of marathons including the New York City Marathon, the Miami Marathon, the Georgia Marathon, the Hartford Marathon, the Philadelphia Distance Run and San Francisco's Beta Breakers. ING is a major global sponsor of football, sponsoring the Royal Dutch Football Association and the Asian Football Confederation. ING was the title sponsor of the Renault Formula One team from the 2007 season to the 2009 season. It was the title sponsor of the Australian Grand Prix and Belgian Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix, and the Turkish Grand Prix. ING ended its sponsorship of Renault in part due to a reduction in advertising spending and in part due to controversy surrounding the Renault Formula One team. The arts. ING's sponsorships in the arts include the Dutch National Museum in Amsterdam, the New York Museum of Modern Art, and the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra. ING owns and houses proprietary art collections in Belgium, Mexico, the Netherlands, Poland and the United Kingdom. ING sponsored the Amsterdam Gay Pride of 2008. Education. ING is one of the strategic industry partners with Duesenberg School of Finance. ING provides a series of internships and assists with student loans to the accepted students. Also, in-house events are organized for Duesenberg School of Finance students to give better insight on the financial industry. Lawsuit. On August 16, 2005, the company sued PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP in U.S. federal court over its audits of bankrupt National Century Financial Enterprises and its NPF 6 Incorporated subsidiary. See also: European Financial Services Roundtable, Inter-Alpha Group of Banks, References. External links: ING websites, official website, ING Commercial Banking, ING Real Estate, ING Investment Management, ING Commercial Banking France, other websites, ING Group Headquarters, Galinsky Architecture Database, ING Direct US Rate History.